Welcome, friends, to yet another edition of Nights Around the Fire. I'm David Tomsic, and of course, you know Sue Taylor. We got a really good program tonight. Smash the like button right now before we get started, or
squash that like button.
Thank you. Tonight's topic is something we've talked about before in ghost hunts. And Sue, what is that topic?
We're going to talk about the Black Hand of Canonsburg today.
Yes, it's a mafia group, and we've had a ghost hunt at the bookstore, and basically we talked to people in the spirit world that knew about the Black Hand. It was a very interesting conversation, and another conversation with the owner of the bookstore will be coming out very soon, and she had some basically encounters with the Black Hand. So we're going to go from there, and Sue, take it away.
So basically consider this our three-part series on the Black Hand. If you haven't watched the video on the Black Hand yet with the ghosts, go watch that one. And you're going to want to watch our interview with Lynn, especially after you hear some of the timelines in this one.
I'll leave a link in the description box for that first video.
Okay. So the Black Hand was obviously a criminal organization here in Canonsburg. And my main source for tonight's episode is True Murder Mysteries of Southwestern Pennsylvania by A. Parker Burroughs. This book is pretty easy to find. If you want to read it, I bought this copy at the Walgreens over on Cavacina. So
Walgreens.
Yeah, very, very easy to get if you want to read it. But it has a very long, detailed chapter about the Black Hand and one particular story relating to the Black Hand. I am going to give the Cliff Notes version because we only have an hour show, and we would be here for the next 2 hours if I tried to go into all the details.
Okay, give us the Cliff Notes version,
yeah.
Sue. Go ahead.
So, and Dave, I want your opinion on this because this book kind of implies that the Black Hand in Canonsburg was not really as big of a deal as people make it out to be, but from everything I've heard, the Black Hand was legit. It was the legitimate mafia in the area for a few years.
Yes, so definitely they were very violent and very brutal, and I will tell a story a little later from what I heard from people that lived during that time, and it'll shock you.
So the Black Hand, or La Mano Negra.
La Mano Negra.
Yes. First appeared in the United States in 1903. Their first evidence in Canonsburg was in 1906.
Didn't take them long to get here.
No, it did not. And it's believed that they came from the Italian regions of Calabria and from Sicily.
That's right. I have family from Calabria. That's where my whole family came from. And I can tell you that there are connections with that area and Sicily.
So they were active in Washington County until the 1920s. And this book implies that Prohibition pretty much wiped them out. However, what did we talk about at the bookstore a couple of weeks ago?
Fill me in.
We talked about some very particular involvement in the area during Prohibition. So, I don't know. You're going to have to wait and watch that video with Lynn. Go back and watch it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe that Prohibition wiped these guys out.
Yeah, this is a story that I think is sort of like rewriting history in a way. But I believe that there are other reasons the Black Hand was pretty much removed from Canonsburg. My understanding, and again, I can only confirm this through people that I know, that a woman married into the Black Hand, a gentleman who was involved, and ended up squealing on him to the authorities, and they pretty much had enough evidence to shut them down here. We're talking murder, extortion, a lot of things that the Black Hand did in this particular town. And again, they weren't very nice people.
Just wait. There's more. Just wait. We'll see if you have the same opinion in the next hour.
Okay.
So their symbol can be traced back to Italy in the 1880s, and this is because people started to see the imprint of a hand blackened with coal dust on their houses. And it was a sign that the Black Hand had marked you, and you needed to do what they wanted, or it could be dangerous.
Yes. And again, the coal dust, interesting, was a coal mining area.
Yes,
back in that age. Very big. And of course, organized crime grew up around it.
So this was also a very big Italian community area. This was 1890s Washington County and the Mon Valley area. They went a lot to the Mon Valley area because of the mills and everything that was there for employment. And then they came here, and the first records of the Italian immigrants in Canonsburg was around that same time period, and they dug the sewers for the boroughs, the troughs for the boroughs for the sewers.
Yeah, that's another legend about Italians. I will say this. That's why they called them wops.
Okay.
Because when they worked in the sewers, what they threw up against the wall whopped. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not real happy about that. And if someone came up and told me that joke, would be going head to head, toe to toe. But that was one of the derogatory ways of talking about an Italian.
Okay.
When someone says that today, I don't think many people know that's really what it meant. But as you said, they were known for digging out the sewers and such. Put the two and two together, you get, well, you know what you get.
We got it. Yep. Okay, so I might need some clarification on part of this from you. Now, they lived on the south and the east ends of Canonsburg. So for any of you who are from the area, East End is primarily over where the Sarah's Candy Shop
where I am right now
is located. Yes, where we're sitting right here.
We're in the East End.
So what's considered south?
Well, south would be down by the middle school, the grade school downtown. South would be South Central and going up the hill to Route 19.
Okay.
And there's a grade school there, and of course the grill's there, the bar and grill's there.
Yep.
And that's the south side of Pittsburgh. That's the south side of Canonsburg.
Okay. I wasn't sure exactly what was considered the south portion of town. So, okay. Am I considered living on the east side of town where I live and where you grew up?
You wouldn't be considered East End.
Okay.
Being on East College, East End was its own separate world. In fact, they used to say East End should have had its own police precinct. It was the Wild West here, and it was a melting pot.
Judging by this story, yes, they should have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, you are close, but you would not be considered East End.
Sarah's Candy is definitely considered
Yes.
definitely considered the East End.
And the Greeks grew up just like the Italians in the East End.
Yeah.
As the Polish did, and just about everybody other ethnic group.
My family was part of that Polish community.
There we go.
From the area. So there we go. Okay, so Black Hand was a precursor to the Italian Mafia in the United States. And it sounds like they had quite the hand in Canonsburg at the time.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah. So the first known incident of the Black Hand in Canonsburg was in January of 1906. And that was when a group of men fired shots into a grocery store owned by a man by the name of Semez Piccolo on East Pike Street and demanded $20.
Okay. Right.
These incidents would continually progress throughout not only the borough but the county, with people receiving letters and demands for money and bodies turning up.
Right. Protection scams.
Yeah. Well, didn't you say one time that one of the cemeteries in town, there are multiple bodies buried in some of those
graves?
Yes.
If you basically go down to where the car wash is now coming into town, we called it Boot Hill. And I've been told that if you dug up a grave, you'd find another 5 bodies underneath some of these graves. So there were a lot of people that were missing, that were buried. Again, this is what I was told. And many buried in the cemeteries underneath others to hide and conceal the crime.
That's why we're telling the stories around a campfire.
That's a campfire story, all right.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get too into our stories, do you have one other one that you want to tell first, and then we can work them in later?
Yeah, I'll tell the one I just told on the other video, and I'll just tell the second one later. It might be more fitting. I was basically 17. I was dating a girl that lived out 980. I was still in high school, and her grandfather was an Italian. He came over on the boat, and he, kind of was a tough dude. He's hard, but he gave me this jumpsuit, black jumpsuit, and it fit. I was a thin guy back in the day, and I took it home and I showed my mother. My mother screamed her head off. She was scary when she screamed. She screamed. She says, "Take that off." and burn that out of the back in the fire. She made me burn that jumpsuit. I said, why? She goes, that's what the Black Hand would wear. I said, jumpsuit? She goes, yeah. So I did what she asked me to. I took that jumpsuit off and put it in the fire and burned it. And she was not happy with me at all. And she did not trust my girlfriend's family.
And what year was that?
That had been 1973.
Okay. So, yeah, your mom would have had quite the knowledge of the Black Hand in this area.
Right. My family grew up in basically the 30s. So they knew, a lot of the theories that went on about the Black Hand from the 20s.
But that was the 70s. And, this legend was still alive and well in Canonsburg in the 70s.
If you were old enough, you knew.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about a particular story that this book goes into in details. I'm leaving a lot of pieces out, but you'll get the gist of the story when we get into it. Okay, so a man by the name of Gabriel Fiore came to the United States in 1911. Okay. 1915, he applied for naturalization while living in East Canonsburg and working in the tin plate mill. Where was that?
It was in basically down where the Sarah's Chocolate Factory is right now.
Okay. So he's doing really well in his new life. He's planning to become a U.S. citizen. He's even planning to go back to Italy for a visit.
Okay.
So he's doing really well. Now, there is some evidence that on the 28th of May, 1922, he had taken some money out of his account. But that might have been, it might have been prepping for his trip to Italy.
Sure.
Something. People, they have bank accounts, they take money out. That's what they do.
They didn't have American Express back then.
No, they did not. So he's getting ready. So the night of May the 28th, 1922, Canonsburg police get word of a disturbance over on the East End. Shocker.
Nothing unusual there.
And the Canonsburg police said basically the exact same thing. They said, oh boy, there's a disturbance on the East End. We wonder who it's involved. Okay, so they get there, and they've got a dead body.
Whoa.
So Mr. Fiore is dead, and this was Canonsburg's second murder on the East End in a week.
Crime wave.
Yeah.
Murder wave.
Yeah. So the man who was directly accused of shooting him was a man by the name of Angelo Fragacia.
No,
Okay.
Can't get more Italian than that.
Nope. Well, there's one more in here that might be more Italian. So he had been involved in the ruckus that was earlier that evening before Fiore ended up dead. He was a barber in town who had grown up in the village of Bovino in Italy, and he was just 2 years older than Fiore. So Fiore had grown up in a neighboring village, so there's a theory that they might have known each other back in the old country. So they go and they arrest this barber by the name of Angelo Fragacia. And at the same time, they also arrest a father and a son by the name of, here's where it gets more Italian, Marcantonio and John Daniele.
John Danelli.
Yeah, was the father and John was the son.
He arrested them both.
And arrested them both.
For this murder.
They arrested all three of these men for this murder.
Okay.
Do you know why? Okay, they think that Angelo is the shooter. Do you know why they arrested the other two?
No.
Because they believe that Marcantonio is the leader of the Black Hand in Canonsburg.
Oh.
And
he's the Don.
They believe that he is the Don at the time. And the DA in Washington County at this time says to the Canonsburg police, this is our opportunity. We're going to stop the Black Hand in Canonsburg. We are going to stop all this madness. And the Canonsburg police say, okay, great. They go and arrest the supposed Don of the Black Hand in Canonsburg. They take all three of these men to jail, and they're going to put them on trial.
Okay.
So what do we need if we're going to take a court case to trial?
A thing called evidence.
Yes. Unlike if you're down in Greene County in the 1700s, and
yeah, they just kill you.
Yeah, they just went with it. So part of the evidence that you might need to take a case to trial are witnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had, a couple of other people who were prepared to testify, got a couple of other people, but they had one star witness that they were going to put on the stand. And it was a housewife by the name of Armina Orsino. She went by the name Minnie, so we're going to call her Minnie going forward. She was also from Italy, lived on Canonsburg's East End, and it sounds like we're talking about the area where Perry Como Street runs now.
Okay, right. Right.
So you've got an idea. So Minnie said she was awoken about 2 a.m. by the sound of arguing outside of her house. And she looks out the window and she sees 5 men on the sidewalk. Okay. She recognizes these men. And I figure, like, in that neighborhood at that time, like...
Yeah, everybody knew everybody.
Yeah, you're going to know everybody. So she's not surprised with who she sees. And Minnie also knows about the Black Hand. Like, Minnie's not living under a rock. So 3 of the men leave. And 2 of the men stay. One of the men is standing with his back to her window. He extends his right hand to the other man, who kneels, takes his hand, and kisses it. All right. So, does that strike anything in you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So, she believes she heard the standing man say the word corogno.
Corogno, yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, there's a theory of what it means, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Then they both walk to the south. So at this point, Minnie is concerned that these men are going to come into her house. So she does the logical thing. She grabs a rolling pin.
That'll work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, Minnie does something even braver than get a rolling pin, but just stay tuned. Okay. So as she's watching, she sees the men stop at another house, and one of the men goes through the window of that house with help from the other man. At this point, Minnie hears a gunshot. Who else hears a gunshot? 2 other policemen who are on patrol.
So we're confirmed the gunshot in this house that Minnie witnessed men going into.
Yes. Yes. After she saw the whole thing with the kneeling, the kissing, and the word in Italian that I'm going to let you pronounce. Corogno?
No, I'm thinking. I've never heard the word.
Okay. Oh, well, that's probably a good thing on a couple of different levels.
It might be a name for something they call for honor, respect, what have you.
Well, according to what was said later, some people believe that is the word for to kill.
I never heard that, but okay.
And I didn't look it up. I went with what the book said that the witnesses at the time theorized. I'm sure that's a very easy thing to look up.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with it if that's what they believe.
Yeah. So they find Fiore laying on the ground. He's laying on his back with his arms crossed on his chest. He has a bullet hole in his temple.
Yeah.
And they made note of the fact that he is still wearing his hat.
That's interesting itself.
Yeah, and they think he was shot where he fell.
So they knocked him down and then shot him?
No, they think that, like, it wasn't like he was shot and, like, walked a few feet. Like,
he just dropped.
Like, somebody just went boom and he just, hit the ground.
And the hat stayed on.
I see. Okay, with the arms crossed and the hat on, I feel like somebody was leaving a nice little sign there.
I think they're saying, you're going to go and sleep with in your coffin because that's the coffin pose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it was a message to others who might not want to obey their scheme to get money out of you for protection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, like we said, the Canonsburg police are not dumb. They know who is involved in this. They know who is behind this. And the DA at the time was a man named Howard Hughes. And he is also not dumb.
He isn't confused with the billionaire Howard Hughes, right?
Yeah, not to be confused with him.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is it. They're going to end the Black Hands nonsense. They're going to bring Canonsburg righteous again. All they need is Minnie, the nice little housewife, to testify. Minnie is from Italy. Minnie's not dumb. Minnie knows that the Black Hand is not going to like this. And she knows that by testifying, she's going to put herself and her family at risk.
Including her family in Italy.
Good point. Good point. They did not mention that, but yeah,
including
good
her family
point.
in Italy, because the Black Hand would still have connections to basically the Black Hand in Italy, I'm sure.
Excellent
Organized
point.
crime in
Excellent
Italy.
point. Yeah.
So yeah, it's two continents here.
Yeah. So DA Hughes brings Minnie back up to Little Washington here for her own safety because the Canonsburg police can't keep her safe. And I'm sure the Black Hand had people in the Canonsburg police force.
Yeah, I never heard that. But you know, from today's world, that happens a lot with drug enforcement people and such. But maybe they did. I mean, it wasn't a big police force, I don't believe.
Yeah, but they get them up there to get her up to Washington to keep her safe, to keep her away from the Black Hand, because at this time there were rumors going around that there were men looking for Minnie in town.
I'm sure there were.
I'm sure there were, yeah. So Fragassa claims he didn't kill anyone, but his story then changes at trial.
Okay.
So true to her word, Minnie sticks to her story. And at the same time they're doing Fragassa's trial, they're also doing the Danielle's trial at the same time.
Two separate trials.
Yes. So Fragassa's verdict comes back guilty. Okay. And then a little bit later, Mark Antonio's comes back guilty. And these men are sentenced to death.
That's wow.
Yeah. But as Danielle is being led out of court, he says to the DA, "Don't worry, the Black Hand will get you." I have no doubt that he said these things. Like, I have no doubt that this stuff happened, and I have, like, no doubt that these guys were involved with the Black Hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost out of a movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, it's almost out of a movie. But keep in mind, where does the movie get their inspiration? From real life. And I'm sure if this guy was truly from the Black Hand, he probably would have said, "We're going to get you."
Yeah, so as you can expect, the Black Hand took this just fine, and they said, okay, well, they got our guy, so we're just going to break up and, leave Canonsburg in peace. And okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what they would do.
Yeah.
Why would you, you have this organization making money in town, you lost a couple of guys, pack it up.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. End of episode. Bye, guys.
Yeah, that's all we needed was one conviction. We just took down the whole drug cartel around the world.
We have realized the error of our ways. We're sorry. No more dead bodies in Canonsburg.
Yeah. Okay. So we know that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen. So, okay. These men are going to appeal their convictions, obviously. So the first thing that happens is Minnie had a man force his way into her house and put a gun to her head asking why she said what she said. And she said she only told the truth. Minnie knows for a fact now that she is not safe in Canonsburg.
That's a good deduction.
Yeah. So, about this time, Fragassa says that he alone did the murder. Danielle was not involved, had nothing to do with it. He's the only one who killed Fiore.
So he recanted for Danielle.
Yeah, he was going to go save himself. So, November of 1923, Minnie has some other people come to her house. There are 5 men, and some of them are lawyers for the Danielle family.
Okay, yeah.
So these men spend 90 minutes in her house trying to convince her to change her story. They give her suggestions of things to say, like, oh, they kept you in jail to make you say this. They beat you. They withheld food. Like, they did all of these terrible things to you. That's why you said what you said, right? You didn't actually see this. They tried to tell her, look, if you just change your story, everything's going to be fine. Like, we'll take care of you. You're never going to want for anything in your life. It's all good. That works, right?
These aren't the drones you're looking for.
Right. You didn't actually see what you see.
Okay, so
Okay.
what happened with Minnie?
Okay. So Minnie doesn't back down. She doesn't change her story.
He's a tough cookie.
She does. She says, "No, I'm not changing my story." Well, about this time, the fine gentlemen of the Canonsburg police force find out that this meeting is going on. And they show up at the house and they say, "Knock it off. Get out of here." And the men do. They leave. But, they try to appeal to Minnie, we're just trying to save this man's life. We don't want this man to be executed.
How did they execute him back then? They hang him?
Electric chair.
Electric chair.
Yeah, electric chair.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Shocking.
it's interesting that you asked that right at this point because the state of Pennsylvania goes on to execute these men.
So they did go.
Yes,
The chair.
they execute both of these
Give
men.
him the chair.
Yeah, they execute both of these men. Okay. So, about this time, they want to claim that the Black Hand's done by this point.
Okay.
Which I don't believe because of the conversation that we had with Lynn a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the prohibition didn't stop the Black Hand.
No, because I don't believe they were huge into bootlegging. They were into extortion and they were into basically protection rackets.
Right. Who was protecting the bootleggers?
Right. Well, right. That's true. But again, that's a new one to me. I did not hear that. But as we know through history, and we've talked a lot about history on this channel, there's a lot of gray area.
I think money making was very big with these types of organizations, and they are going to want to make money. So telling them they can't do something like liquor is just going to make them more prominent.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Capone survived, with they only got him on tax evasion, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they could have continued being as brutal as I heard they were. I'm surprised they let Minnie live.
Well, we're not quite done yet.
Oh.
Uh-oh. So Minnie's life has pretty much gone back to normal by this time. Until March 14th of 1926. So Minnie's husband's been out running some errands all day. He comes home, and he gets violently ill.
Oh, no.
By 5:45, he's dead.
What happened to him?
Well, they said that he had been drinking all day. And that, it probably wasn't poisoning, but they think he had been drinking all day and someone had slipped arsenic into the alcohol that he was drinking and poisoned him. Now, this book does do an interview with one of either the grandchildren or the great-grandchildren. And she does not believe that he was poisoned by the Black Hand. But I feel this is very convenient. It was 3 years later. But I feel like it was very convenient. Draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, friends, let us know what you think in the comment section. I really don't have basically any skin in this game. I'm not sure what would have happened to this man. I would have thought that the Black Hand would have did something to this family one way or other.
Mm-hmm.
The other. But maybe they wanted to wait to basically get the police off their trail and not make it seem like, oh, yeah, this was a revenge killing.
Yeah.
It could be they waited 3 years on purpose. But then again, it might have been he just had natural causes from drinking excessively.
They said he died a pretty terrible death. They said it was pretty bad, which arsenic is a pretty bad way to go. Arsenic is a very painful way to go. So it does sound like he was poisoned. Now, whether that was Black Hand induced or not,
right?
Who knows?
We may never know.
Yeah, but it does sound like some type of poisoning.
Again, let us know in the comments section what you think. If you have any Black Hand stories or have any information, put it in our comment section, or email us at strangeworlds777 at yahoo.com. Sue will reply. We'll get you on the air if we have an answer for you. Once again, if you enjoy this content, please hit the subscribe button right now.
Squash that like button.
And share the video. Thank you to all of our new subscribers, by the way. Okay, so where do we go from here, Sue?
So that's the story that I have heard of what brought down the Black Hand in Washington County, Pennsylvania. I think that's a good story. They may have got one of the top people, but I don't think that stopped them. There is even rumor in this book about the head of the Pittsburgh Black Hand trying to convince Minnie to recant her story.
Okay, interesting. So there's a lot of things going on here in that time. I think Canonsburg had a lot of issues back in the early days with some of this type of crime. I know that we have a lot of paranormal activity that was centered around it. We know from our investigation at the bookstore that some people that were there have been affected by murder, by the violence that the Black Hand set upon this town, which is where I'll tell a story.
Okay. We want to hear your story.
So I used to work at the bowling center here in Canonsburg. My family owned it, and me and my cousin ran it pretty much every night. And we had an old guy, and I don't remember his name. He was 88 years old at the time, and he would come, and he knew my whole family since they came from Italy. And he would tell me stories about my whole family, 7 brothers, 2 sisters, the whole thing. He knew them personally, and he would tell me that this place, Canonsburg, was infiltrated by the Black Hand. He said they had coal that they would have on their hand. And you would know them by this. When they had meetings, they had coal on their hand. And he said they ran extortion and other things, among other things. And here where we're at, in the east end of Canonsburg, there's a road that's not maybe 200 feet from my house, maybe 300 feet. And that road at that time had very few homes, just a few homes sparsely going up this hill. And he said that he would walk home because he lived up there. And he would walk home as a young man. And they would trip over bodies. Trip over bodies laying basically on the road, like a dirt road, with their throats cut.
And that's the book talks about the fact that like the Black Hand left bodies all over town.
They did. And this road was, from what he said, littered with them. And many times they'd just leave them there because, again, it was a message. And so when you say, yeah, we're going to get rid of the Black Hand, there was not 1 or 2 people. There's probably a dozen or so or more.
That more.
Involved in this. Now, did the arrest of the Don, their leader, set him back? Maybe. Maybe he was the brains of the operation. Maybe it didn't work as well without it.
But about what year do you think that man was walking home by himself?
Probably 1922.
Okay, so that was right about this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, right about this time.
Yeah, and he said that there was dark times in this town. And once again, we investigate the paranormal here. And Sue can tell you we've had a lot of paranormal activity in this town. And we know some of that's due to that time.
Mm-hmm.
The violence and the deaths that occurred in this town still haunt this town.
That's why this town is an 8 on the haunting
Haunting
scale.
meter, yeah, it hits the 8. And hits the 8 hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's pushing 9. And we've investigated a few of these occurrences.
Yep.
We're going to continue. And Sue, what do you have to say about that?
I do not deny that the Black Hand must be responsible for a good portion of the ghost here in Canonsburg.
I'm sure. And, of course, a lot of the old buildings here, people have a lot of things to say about paranormal activity. And maybe it's not all associated with the Black Hand, but I think the very fact that there's a lot of negative energy in this town, I think that really gives it the power to the energy to many of these entities to continue to haunt these locations, including people that have been murdered or knew people murdered by the Black Hand.
You think Perry Como was in the Black Hand?
I hope not. Perry Como, I understand, was a pretty decent guy, so I don't think so. We are home to Perry Como and Bobby Vitten here. two very big stars. I mean, in the sense of Perry Como actually probably was the biggest one.
Bobby Vinton was a good Polish kid.
Good Polish kid, lived behind me when I grew up on College Street, and we remember getting to see him in parades. Last, I think, 5 years ago, he came back to have a farewell tour here.
At one point, he was the Grand Marshal of the 4th of July parade.
That's right, and I think that same year he had his last concert here. Basically, he had it at the casino.
Okay. Yeah.
The casino, I think it was the amphitheater they have there.
Okay.
And again, a lot of rich history here. And a lot of towns have rich history. If you have your own ghost stories, want to ask, let us know. Send them via the comment section or the email, strangeworlds777@yahoo.com. Sue wants to have a day where she can tell your stories.
Yes.
Your ghost stories. And I have a couple. Sue has a couple. And we know you have a couple. If we get enough together, we're going to tell them. Give us as much information as you can. And we'll try to do it justice here on the Nights Around the Fire.
So I'm going to put out there, the Canonsburg Hot Dog Festival is coming up and the hot dog eating contest. And I don't think either one of us is going to participate in the hot dog eating contest. But if you would like to see Dave and I hanging out at the hot dog eating festival and telling you the story of the Canonsburg 4th of July parade and the parade chairs while hanging out on historic haunted Pike Street, drop a hot dog emoji in the comments section for me.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, definitely. This is our 250th anniversary, of course, for this country. Canonsburg's as old as that.
If not older.
If not older. We were here well before the Declaration of Independence was signed. And there's a lot of rich history here. We talk a little bit about it on the interview with Lynn Alt from the bookstore here in Canonsburg. If you haven't seen that, it's going to be posted anyway. By the time this video is done, that should be posted. Watch it. Again, a lot of history. Talks about ghosts and the Black Hand. Listen, we try to cover all bases here. And, we can try to hammer you with Bigfoot every week, but we want to talk about the richness of our area, the history behind it, the paranormal history behind it.
We want to tell you ghost stories, too.
And we want to tell you ghost stories. And I think summer's the best time for that. I think we agree that, Sue. We're going to do some campfire stories. And we need your help. Give us some of yours. And I think we can have a successful video.
Yeah, I think so.
So what's next on the list here?
I think next week we'll talk about Somerset County Bigfoot for all of the Bigfoot fans out there. But at the same time, we got a big deal coming up the next 2 Saturdays here at Nights Around the Fire.
Right, we do. We have an interview.
So this coming Saturday, we are going ghost hunting with Ken down in Greene County. So
at the Foundry.
So stay tuned for that. And then the 13th, we are going to talk to Mr. Kevin Paul, who has been the author source for the books that we've done on our Greene County series. Right,
and it's really exciting to get to see him again after I met him up at one of the festivals in Scenery Hill. I love the book. Sue, I know you got a lot of information out of that book about Greene County. Again, paranormal city.
Oh, yeah.
Paranormal city. And I believe southwestern Pennsylvania is paranormal Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
That's my opinion here. And we're going to tackle all those. So, Sue, any last words?
No, I don't think so. But go check out our original ghost hunting video from the bookstore, and you will see the ghost who wants to tell us about the Black Hand.
Right. And again, go to our video channel on YouTube and binge watch our videos. We have a little bit of everything and a lot of some Bigfoot for sure. And we'll see you next time because we're Canonsburg's #1 paranormal podcast. And I think we can also have our viewers join our discussion group.
Yes, the Canonsburg Paranormal Discussion. You're going to join that. Oh, and join us on Instagram. We are Nights Around the Fire with a K on Instagram.
That's Instagram and Facebook and Instagram. Go there, join, be a part of our group. And again, comment in the comment section. We always love to hear from you. So from Sue and me and Sue, we want to say we'll see you next time right here on your favorite paranormal podcast, Nights Around the Fire.
Bye, guys.